Hey everybody, John Lum, you can call me John L. Tonight we're playing ActRaiser. So this is a fun game. I think it's one of the more creative games. It's a blend of hack and slash platforming and simulation done by Enix, which is now Square Enix. I think it is one of the games that kind of mixed two genres and actually did it in a really fun, good way. On its own, the hack and slash and platforming isn't the greatest. On its own, the sim is definitely lacking, but together they make actually a pretty fun combination. So, and it's pretty easy and straightforward. The challenges isn't too great, and I think it's just something fun to play after the Mega Man marathon. So we'll get into it. You start out as God, essentially. And as God, I guess you get to give yourself a name. Alright, so I guess you've been slumbering and now the world's gone to hell and you gotta wake up and take care of business again. Monsters are in total control of the earth. Because of the demon they call Tanzra, the one who sealed your power. In order to restore your power, you'll need to rekindle the people's faith in you. First, let's go down to Earth and destroy all the monsters that may establish a peaceful land for our people to dwell in. So this is where it's a real cool kind of thing. So you start out and you end each level or land or area by doing a hack and slash platform type thing. And as you can see, you know, your character has a life bar, SP, which is, I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh, when you're the little angel flying around in the simulation, you have the ability to do like rain, so we'll get there. Yeah, so your character fights in the hack and slash, and then during the simulation, by growing your population, rekindling their faith, blah blah blah, that's the way you actually strengthen your character during the hack and slash part. So it's kind of a cool concept. Back in the day, I can't think of too many games that had something like this that was, you know, kind of leveling system that wasn't just based on killing monsters and getting experience. So it was pretty cool. So anyways, it's kind of open to begin with. You start out as the god and, you know, your little flying temple and stuff like that, and obviously you can move over all the different lands. So even though they park you in Fillmore, which is kind of, in my opinion, the best place to start, you could really start anywhere. I think the challenge might be a little bit more difficult. In general, this game's pretty easy though. But anyways, we'll start in Fillmore, and the first thing you have to do in any land is initially just go down and kind of fight the initial monster, so that at least like some people can start. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I remember Super Nintendo really used to push the Mode 7, so that was their thing. That's it, this spinning whatever, and like almost every game featured it. So right from the get, you know, the background's really nice, all the foreground's really nice, a lot of detail, you know, really nice looking characters. I would say the controls are a little bit stiff for the guy. He definitely feels like he can't move too much. I can't remember if we can get up there or not. It's a pretty easy challenge. Like, all the enemies are generally like one-hit kills till you get to the end, and almost all the projectiles, I believe, are things that you can destroy. So you can destroy this guy's projectiles right there. Nice little wood log coming out of the tree there for you. So I recall this game coming out pretty early. Got a little one up there. That's always cool. Coming out pretty early for the Super Nintendo's release. So I think it's a pretty well done game, considering where it falls. It's not tremendously long, but it's definitely a lot of fun to play. I mean, music's good, just pretty much everything about this game. Let's see if we can get this apple here. So apples refill your life. There's pretty much a strong supply of all this stuff. Like, there's a lot of extra lives, there's a lot of scrolls, or whatever these things are called. I mean, like, the bosses, really nicely done. Looks kind of you know, like something you'd see out of Final Fantasy. So with this guy, what you want to do is you want to kind of run all the way back to this back wall over here. Ooh. And he won't be able to hit you. Just stay in this brown area, kind of like hit him a couple times, and because right now you're weak. I mean, you're about as weak in this game as you'll ever be. There we go, not too challenging. So your score in the... Well, this is what I read online. I mean, you know, playing through it, I never really had a problem with growing your cities and getting your character to be stronger, but apparently the score affects how strong, or the maximum population of the area, which affects how strong your character can get. So after defeating the first stage of the area, you get 2 people, and they get a procreating, I guess. Alright. So even though you knocked out the first enemy, things aren't all perfect in the land. Monsters, infrastructure. So you're this little angel guy now, and what happens is there's these monster layers, and the monsters will come up and they will kind of harass and kill your people, like once you get more people. Just talking about sealing the layers right now. So there's a story, kind of, for each land. You grow the population and events happen, and eventually it kind of culminates in opening the final act, or action portion of the level, where you have to fight kind of the final level boss. And then you can, well, you can honestly proceed whenever you want, but to clear the land you have to defeat the final boss. Alright. And they always got something to say. Building homes, because the many bushes, burn the bushes. So there's a little bit of tutorial going on. So this is what I was talking about with the SP. So, you know, when you open up your menu, you can always return to the Sky Palace, move it to a new location. Directing the people is where you show them how to build. We'll get to that in a second. But you have these miracles. So you have lightning, which you can use to burn bushes, destroy rocks, and all that kind of stuff. Rain will come into play when you need to... desert. You need to make it livable again, so you have to, you know, water the desert, I guess. Sun, when you have to dry out marsh. Wind, earthquakes, all that kind of stuff. The people will give you offerings, so you can take that, and they'll give you, you know, stuff that'll help you out, like new magic spells and you know, items that are important to the story in the section. You can check your status of your character, and you can save and control the message speed. So let's see if we... Here, why don't we just like make it as fast as this? That's cool. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is destroy these bushes. So right now it'll take a little bit longer, just because our character is kind of like at level 1. So all these miracles take a little bit of SP and different quantities, and some of the bigger ones like Earthquake we won't even be able to do from the beginning just because we're not strong enough. So now we're going to direct our people to start colonizing, I guess. So here are the monster lairs that I talked about. So these guys will, you know, kind of just harass and murder your followers. Poor people. So those little bat-looking guys, they'll grab them and kind of fly them away and whatever. None of it's really too terrible though, because, you know, your population will return. It's not like they're gone for good. Here we go. So we finally mastered the skill of hunting the animals. We now have enough confidence to fight the monsters. Okay, so I guess I need to get that first. So what you want to do is destroy the monster lairs first. So that way, there you go, see there are some more. Found a strange statue. So yeah, they'll just start finding all this stuff like when they start destroying the lairs and moving around and stuff like that. Alright, so what you want to do is not actually have them build, because what happens is they also kind of go through levels of advancement in the civilization, and these initial houses actually hold the least amount of population. So what we're going to do is eventually later on we're going to destroy all these houses, so that way you know, they'll rebuild with better ones. We'll keep on using our miracles to... So yeah, I'm not too concerned about these guys getting taken away. Aw. Because they'll eventually come back. Alright, so every time the hourglass, you know, finishes, the people will come out and they'll start building. Unless there's a point in the simulation where there's a kind of a story situation, and then generally it'll slow down or it'll stop and you'll have to do something like fight the last boss to get them going again. But yeah, so they always rebuild the population. So no matter what happens to these guys, even if they get picked off by the monsters, or even if I fry them with lightning or something like that, they'll go ahead and you know, repopulate. I'm just a kind god. There you go. So again, you don't want to expand more than you have to in the beginning, because especially in the first level, Fillmore, Bloodpool, I guess wherever you want to choose to have your first level, that just means you're gonna have to spend more time destroying all these houses and all that kind of stuff. So what we want to do is just expose the last the layers. There's always 4. There you go. So again, when you grow your population, eventually when you hit certain points, you will level up, and yeah, your HP increases, and that's pretty much it. So you can also see we have a different type of house. So either after destroying that layer or destroying the first one, they ended up no, I don't want to do that. Alright. They ended up oh great, leveling up, but they're not done yet. There's always 3 levels. So we want to go ahead and kind of expose where these, oh there they are, okay, that's fine. So we already know. Sometimes they're hidden, especially in Murano, which is the desert level. They're hidden under different types of terrain. Okay. So, as the angel, when your life bar reaches 0, or you're, you know, in the red completely, you can't shoot any arrows, so you can't defend your people. It doesn't really make a difference, because once the hourglass fills, you'll get, like, you know, a little bit of HP back, but I guess it just kind of makes it annoying. So your guys will get all beat up, and you'll get all beat up, and whatever. Something to tell me. Big rock. So sometimes they'll give you hints, so use lightning. Well, it's a pretty big hint right there. Oh, okay. So these guys need to learn how to build bridges. So I can't actually cross that place right now. Let's do this. The guy told us about the rock, so here's the rock. Boom. As you can see, it disappears, and surprise, people have something to say. Magic token, presented as an offering. Alright, so we'll pick that up later. Right now, let's go ahead and direct the people to seal off this last layer. Or actually, not last layer, third layer. So I think Fillmore is actually one of the bigger areas. Toward the end of the game, when you get to like Itos and North Wall, it's not as sprawling as this. Obviously, it's still not, you know, really huge or anything like that by any like modern games means, but it's kind of weird how later on in the game the simulation portion kind of gets smaller. So what's nice about the game is, you know, there's the hack and slash platforming section to start with, and then you kind of get this nice simulation section, which you can kind of do at your leisure. It can kind of take a while if you want, or you can kind of actually speed through it. I remember the first time playing through this as a kid, you know, it took kind of a while. We were just kind of goofing around. Repairing his boat along the seashore, found an unusual scroll. There you go. But, the last time I played this, you know, you can pretty much knock out these simulation sections pretty fast. Oh, and then they always find something when they destroy one of these layers. Something exciting to tell me. Oh, it can build bridges now. Sweet. Okay, so we will stop them from doing that, and cool. Alright, as you can see, the SP's gone up quite a bit. So, I think if we wanted to, we could do rain and I don't know, what else? Sun, but I don't think they're not going to do anything in Fillmore. Even though you can kind of go, you know, at your own pace and choose whatever location to start with. I think Fillmore really is kind of like the first level. Happening to me the same nightmare every night. Gruesome Minotaur appears through a big hole to the southeast. Curse the people with death. Feels I'm already afflicted by the monster's curse. Please go, my master. Or please, my master, go down to the ground and destroy the gruesome monster before something terrible happens. Alright. So I think... No, I'm not going to do it just yet. I think at this point they're at the third level, so unfortunately this is when people are going to have to start dying. So what you want to do is, yeah, just destroy all these old houses and everything, and hope they don't really build. Yeah, okay, cool, they're at the third level. So So you can see they have, you know, instead of the fields, these nice big whatever thingies, and yeah, so you want to kind of destroy it as fast as possible, because like this, they'll start building like their nice stuff, interdispersed with like the old stuff too. And that just means that you're gonna have to destroy some of the newer stuff, which means they'll take longer, so yeah, just try to like kind of not expand as much as possible to begin with, and I don't know. I don't know a good way of saying like kill all your citizens. Alright, so it'll take a few more. So there's some kind of thing about building bridges, and bridges are bad because you can only have so many structures in a screen or stage or something like that, and I don't know, I mean, if you want to be a perfectionist and get like max population, maybe, I don't know, just going through the game and maxing out the population has seemed to be good enough to get the character to the max HP, in my experience, so I'm not going to worry about it. That's a bummer. Yeah, so this gets a lot easier later on when you have access to the Earthquake spell, or Miracle, whatever, and you can just use Earthquake and it'll destroy literally every structure besides the, you know, third tier structures or whatever. But since we're weak, we gotta do it the old-fashioned way. That's funny. For all these like poor people, they're like, oh, why do you keep killing us with lightning? So, right now, let's gather all the offerings. So, we got Magical Fire. This is a spell, which is cool. So, when we go into the action sections, now we'll have an action, like a an ability that we can use. And it's actually pretty good. It kind of shoots fireballs out in both directions, left and right. Strength of the Angel just makes your arrow stronger in the simulation. The bomb kills all the enemies on screen. Bridge is a story thing. We'll grab that, so they can build bridges. You're gonna need that in, I think, Blood Pool? Not sure. Source of Magic, that is an MP. So what's cool about all this stuff is, just leave it. These, Source of Magics, and there's a life one too, but they just increase your amount in general, and every time you do an action section, you always start with refreshed amount. So if you have like 4 magical scrolls or whatever, you'll always have 4 when you start. Sorry, guys. Oh, so yeah, now since we are at the 3rd level, we just want to start expanding like crazy. So I mean, as no frills as a simulation is, it's nice because, I don't know, not having to worry about like a billion resources and like wood and gold and blah 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 blah, all the kind of stuff they could have added in here. Kind of makes it like easy and nice and everything. And the simulation stages or portions don't go on for like too long, so it's not like it's lacking in features and it just drags on. You know, it ends pretty quickly. Nice. Alright, since we leveled up, we can finally eradicate all these old houses. I would say it lasts long enough to be interesting and not much longer than that. It's not like I'm just sitting here for hours, you know, waiting for the population to go up. And then, you know, the hourglass over there, it's pretty quick, so, you know, these turns just kind of, you know, go through like pretty fast. So you're not waiting too long without having anything to really do. There we go. Sometimes this kind of directional thing gets stuck though, it's kind of weird. I want to say like in North Wall or something, you can kind of move it into the mountains and then you have to back it up. It's kind of a funny little thing, like a little glitch. So since I'm so weak, I definitely kind of want to wait till the population slows down. So right now it's still normal. As we kind of reach the cap that they want to put us at before we actually have to do the second act, it'll slow down, and, you know, when it slows down, basically it's saying, hey, you gotta do this before, you know, you can have your population grow more. So in a way, they kind of control it so that you can't get too strong. Although if you max out your population every time, by the end it's pretty much an easy game. Yeah, if this is if you've been kind of plugging away at something really challenging, this is the game that I think you want to play, because it's definitely not all that difficult. It's kind of fun, rewarding. I mean, there are some challenging moments, but definitely not very difficult. I don't know, I think they did a really good job with this game. So we'll just wait a couple more turns. Oh, 666. So what's the situation? We're fine. What do we need? Alright, so next is 700, so I'm pretty confident that we'll get at least one more level, kind of before we have to go off for the second act. No way. Like one guy. Alright, when that starts happening, you can pretty much guess that it's slowing down, so this might be like the cap. Yeah, okay. Alright, so they're not going to give us another level before we have to go kill the boss. So what we do now is return to the Sky Palace and go fight monster. Actually, let's select magic first. So there you go. Yeah, you want to make sure you selected the magic. Fireballs to the left and right. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and kill this Minotaur. So I like how, you know, even on the overworld map, it's like they place the houses and stuff, so. So yeah, there's like a nice variety of enemies and levels. So, you know, the first one we're in that forest, now we're in the cave, so. I want to say that there's another source of magic that I probably could have gotten. So I think there's multiple paths through these dungeons too. So it's really funny, like this guy has crazy range with the sword, like you can have things kind of in front of you. And he'll still hit him. So there's those stiff controls. I was trying to duck there. Oof. Alright. So, what was that? Probably a life or something? Alright. Oh! Oh boy. So yeah, he's really sluggish. Which is probably like my only complaint. Oh, great. Oh. Let him go by. Sweet. Oh, great. Okay, that didn't help a lot. I'm gonna die. Oh boy, that was terrible. Believe it or not, I think we took the long way. So theoretically, dying isn't like terrible just because, whoa. If it really is based on score, then dying and getting more score would actually help you, so we're kind of helping ourselves here, let's say. At least we get to the second section. And the jumping is just really weird. All the projectiles are just crazy slow. Ah. So if I can get to the Minotaurs room, I think I'll be comfortable with that. Actually gonna have to try a little bit here. Or not. Oh, shoot. Okay. Easy enough. And here we go. So the Minotaur is definitely not a tough boss. I think he just lands on you, and the only thing you need to really do is move out of the way. His axe strikes are not that hard for some reason. You need to fight the bosses all in the end, and I was having more trouble with him then, but that's the end of Fillmore. So anyways, what I'm going to do is, since these kind of take a little bit of time to get through with the simulation and all that, after I finish the simulation, we'll go ahead and take a little break and then do each level like that. So Fillmore's rid of all monsters. Hers passed away. Unable to help. Elimination of all the monsters. We can now control the town by ourselves. Please visit other lands. They're just saying, like, we're cool. Alright. Tell you... Scrolls found in the woods. Nice. I think this is another source of magic. See, eventually you'll start getting so much stuff that, let's take all this stuff. That you'll be pretty strong. So now that we defeated the second act, they can start growing normally again. There we go. I think we get to 950 and then that'll be about it. I can't recall if there's something else that happens here though. Like there might be some kind of plague, or they might need like music or something like that, I don't know. There's a couple places where you have to kind of come back to them after getting something from another land. Yeah, so when the population has reached its max, it'll say max there. And then we'll be done. So I like it. I mean, the music is nice and just kind of soothing. Yeah, so we'll just kind of keep watching, and when they start sending only like one guy out, should be about it. So there's not a whole lot of depth to this game. You know, besides getting different magics and getting, you know, the scrolls and lives. You know, there's no kind of like things that increase your attack or your defense or anything like that. So it's a little bit lacking in that, but it's just pretty fun. I mean, you know, there's just not a whole lot to learn, which is kind of nice too. I don't think it's Norm. That it? Yeah, so we're maxed out. Alright, so now we will return to the Sky Palace, and then we will head to Bloodpool. Alright, so I'm going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, I'll go ahead and do Bloodpool. So, I'll see you guys in a bit.